And I want to ask that, what does samadhi mean? Like, when it's a state of you still recognizing yourself.
No, awareness, samadhi is not a state. It's just, samadhi is, or we could say it's the natural state. It's the natural condition. So, natural condition of awareness. It is just awareness being itself.
Okay.
Unmixed with the content of experience. Just awareness all alone.
So there's no identifying like you. You have no identification or.
Well, identification means ideo, from Latin the same, and facio, to make. It means to make or believe yourself to be the same as. So if we're identified with our thoughts, we feel, I am the same as I am my thoughts. If we identify with our feelings, we feel, I am the same as my feelings. We make ourselves the same as our feelings. In other words, we feel, I am my feelings. So in awareness's experience of itself, there's nothing for it to be the same as. There's just itself. We can't even say it's identified with itself, because it doesn't need to identify with itself. It is itself.
Okay.
There's just itself. But that doesn't mean... in normal life, awareness is always just itself. But much of the time, it's mixed up with the content of experience. So it doesn't know itself clearly. Yeah. It knows itself partially. Awareness's knowledge of itself is never completely eclipsed. It's obscured, but not eclipsed. Everybody, all 8 billion of us, have the experience being myself. Everybody feels, I am myself. Everybody knows their self. But most people's knowledge of their self is so thoroughly mixed up with the content of their experience, their thoughts, their feelings, their relationships, and so on, that whilst everybody knows their self to a degree, not everybody knows their self clearly. So what we do here is to know ourselves clearly. And this is why clear self-knowledge is really the essence of all the great religious and spiritual traditions, to know what we are clearly or essentially, unmixed with all the superfluous elements of experience. So samadhi is just to know ourselves clearly.
Okay.
That is, when I say to know ourselves, I'm talking because awareness is the only one that can know itself.
Yeah.
So it's awareness is clear self-knowledge of itself, the pure awareness of being. That is samadhi. It's the natural condition, the natural condition of awareness. From the perspective of a separate self, samadhi seems to be an extraordinary state. From King Lear's point of view, John Smith seems to be an extraordinary being that somehow transcends himself. If you imagine King Lear trying to conceive of John Smith, he'd think, oh my God, John Smith must be this incredible being who is prior to me and transcends me and doesn't share all my thoughts and feelings. So being John Smith, from King Lear's point of view, is an extraordinary state of mind. But remember, there isn't a character. That's an illusory point of view. From John Smith's point of view, is being John Smith an extraordinary state of mind? No, it's just the natural condition. That's samadhi.
Okay. Can I confirm more by using an example?
Yeah.
Because I heard from one of my friends, his experience was like he exists in the desk, in the room, in the door. So is that a state of samadhi?
I haven't understood. He exists
in the door, in the desk, like everything is connected in his...
I see, yes.
Yeah, is that samadhi? Or...
So you mean he felt that his being was the being of everything?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Yes, that's the natural condition.
Okay.
That's what's traditionally called Sahaja Samadhi. That's samadhi in the presence of experience. Whereas the samadhi that you were referring to is traditionally called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is samadhi in the absence of experience. But from awareness's point of view, Those are two exotic names that were made up by the separate self. From awareness's point of view, Sahaja Samadhi, that's Samadhi in the presence of experience, and Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Samadhi in the absence of experience, is the same experience. It's just the knowing of its own. It's just being itself.
Okay.
Nothing extraordinary about it at all.
Okay.
It doesn't even need to give it a name. It never needs to name it Samadhi. That's only from the point of view of the separate self.
Okay.
But yes, that would be Sahaja Samadhi, so, the knowing of being in the presence of experience.
My question is that even in that state, there's a still I experience this, right? I'm connected with everything. I become this, that. I'm in this, that.
Well, as long as I, in that case, refers just to pure being,
okay.
then the being, then I am the being of which everything is the appearance. It is my being, not my being as a person. It is me, infinite being, which is appearing as the multiplicity and diversity of the world.